This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. Well, it's great to be back from our summer break, and as you might guess, we have a couple of things to catch up on, as well as reports on the latest developments. So let's get going. China's auto industry was roaring back after the pandemic hit, but now the chip shortage is hurting production and sales. Automakers sold 12% fewer cars in June compared to a year ago, and they were down 8% compared to May. Even so, sales of new energy vehicles, which includes EVs and plug-in hybrids, set all-time sales records and now account for 12% of the total market. Chinese brands also keep taking more market share away from foreign brands, and they now account for nearly 47% of the total market. Stellantis is behind other automakers when it comes to EVs, but now it wants to make up for lost time. It will invest $35 billion through 2025 to electrify its 14 brands, including full electric vehicles and hybrids. It will create 4 new battery electric platforms, small, medium, and large, as well as a frame platform. The vehicles that will come off of those platforms will have ranges between 300 and 500 miles. The first will launch in 2023. Stellantis will use 2 different battery chemistries and will build 3 plants to make the batteries. Its goal is to have 70% of its sales in Europe and 40% in the US be low emission by 2030. China is actively promoting battery swapping for electric cars. That's because most people in China live in apartments and don't have their own charging outlet. To encourage more EV adoption, the national and municipal governments are offering incentives for battery swapping. NIO, a Chinese EV car company, is leading the charge and says it will have 4,000 battery swapping stations operating by 2025. Even more interesting is that 1,000 of those will be located outside of China, with the first ones going into Norway. And NIO says it will offer its swapping system to any automaker that wants to use it.
The age of silicones began at Wacker more than 70 years ago. Whether you're looking for thermal management of battery systems or the protection of electronics, let your innovations be powered by Wacker silicones. Visit us at wacker.com. E-mobility powered by Wacker silicones.
We want to know what drives your testing. OTA, connected car, diagnostics, remote testing. Intrepid Control Systems is here to help you work from anywhere. Intrepid Control Systems, driven by your data.
Volkswagen's Board of Supervisors likes what their CEO is doing, and they just extended his contract until October of 2025. Herbert set a goal of surpassing Tesla as the #1 EV car company in the world, and the board wants him to see that through. Speaking of Volkswagen, it's looking to sell some of its stake in Electrify America. That's the EV charging network it was forced to create in the U.S. as part of its diesel scandal punishment. It has to spend $2 billion over a 10-year period to set up and maintain the network. But according to Reuters, the automaker has partnered with Citibank to find an investor who will invest $1 billion into the charging network. And this isn't too surprising. With the exception of Tesla, most automakers have shown little interest in operating their own charging networks. And in other VW news, it handed majority control of Bugatti over to Croatian electric hypercar maker Rimac. It formed a joint venture called Bugatti Rimac, with Rimac controlling 55% of the company, while Porsche owns the rest. Bugatti's headquarters will remain in France. Hyundai and Kia continue their push into hydrogen fuel cells and have entered into an agreement to secure clean hydrogen. They've signed a memorandum of understanding with Canadian company Next Hydrogen to develop an alkaline water electrolysis system and its related stack to produce green hydrogen. A pilot test is scheduled to start next year, and the companies will also explore potential applications, including for automotive and even commercial, like drones and trains. Hydrotech is the name of the business unit at General Motors that makes fuel cells, and Charlie Fries is the executive director of Hydrotech. He's also going to be our guest on Autoline After Hours this Thursday. So if you want to learn why you keep hearing about companies investing in fuel cell technology, we invite you to tune in. And if you've got questions for Charlie, you can tweet them to @Autoline or send us an email to viewermail@autoline.tv. At a recent event in the Detroit area, BMW announced that its next BEVs, the i4 and the iX, will start rolling down the production line in November. For those of you in the US, that means deliveries kick off in March of next year. Both are made at plants in Germany, the i4 in Munich and the iX in Dingolfing, and both are estimated to return 300 miles of range. The i4 shares an architecture with its gas-powered counterparts, while the iX rides on a new dedicated BEV platform. With carbon fiber clearly visible around both door openings of the iX, we suspect most of the passenger compartment is made from the material. And here's a new term you might have to get used to: shy tech. It's how BMW refers to technology that it tries to hide out of sight, shy. Like the ADAS sensors behind the grille, or the cleaning nozzle for those sensors under the BMW roundel on the hood, and even radiant heating behind panels of the interior. But no matter what you think of the new twin-kidney grille, it's here to stay. BMW continues to embrace the look, and in the case of the new black vermilion edition of the X5 and X6, it's practically screaming at you to look at the grille. With a matte black paint finish and bright red accents added to the bars of the grille, it's hard not to look anywhere else. Market launch for the new editions starts in August. And before we go, here's a look at the all-new Kia Sportage. The lighting signature is very distinctive, with boomerang LED daytime running lights at the front, and that same hard-edged look is picked up in the rear taillights, which are linked together with a thin accent bar. You could say the interior is cutting edge too, and is highlighted by a large curved display screen. The all-new Sportage will celebrate its global market launch later this year. And that wraps up today's report. Thank you for watching.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, solutions for your journey. Intrepid Control Systems, over-the-air engineering, boost your game. Wacker, creating tomorrow's solutions. And by Magna.